Hi, good evening, guys. Good evening, one and all, guys. Uh, Today our guest is Shashidhar Reddy. He's from the math company, like more specifically, he's a data engineer. So he has recently taken one more switch as a data engineer as well, and he has a very good knowledge in big data tech stack. And here he's our alumni for third episode, and will be sharing some good insights with us. And definitely, as you know, that agenda will be simple. Few starting, I will be asking few questions, and next it's up to your turn. You can ask whatever the questions you might be, whatever you are having any doubts, like eh, that's the procedure. So we'll move on, guys. So good evening, guys, one and all, and thanks for joining. And a quick question to Shashidhar, before moving on to the session,
Yes, Karthik.
can you give your brief introduction about yourself, like that will
Yeah,
be good.
sure. So I have been graduated from Sastra University, which is in Tamil Nadu. So is the year is in 2020, and post it is that COVID period when everyone hit bad, and then I was into this cognizant through my college placement. So I was given basic trainings on this ETL tech stack in particular, right? So Cognizant will be providing some sort of trainings and all. So it is there where I have got basic idea what this data is all about, and then how this business unit is going to differ from other business units as well. So I have found it interesting, and then I try to skill up myself wherever and whichever the project I have been pulled into, right? Basically,
Yeah.
I was there in the data warehouse project, and then technically moved to the big data project as well. So what happened is like, so whichever the project I have dealt with the two projects earlier in the Cognizant, they have moved, been migrated to the Databricks and the cloud environment. So I thought, like,
Okay.
is it the same condition that every project is going to face at some point of time, maybe? Because cloud is the future, what I know, because so I thought of upskilling myself in cloud as well. So I have chosen AWS cloud services as one primary skill with regards to the cloud. And then I pursued my Databricks as well. So like when you speak of this data engineer roles and
Exactly.
responsibilities, right? So it is a combination like set of skills that may you that you require to possess with, because when we speak of the visualization, it is the most kind of skill that you need to possess as a data engineer. So I was thinking to go with the Power BI as of now, because I found it interesting in my personal way. Like, so that is how
Exactly.
it's going. So I was working with a Cognizant as a big data developer, and then I choose to upskill myself where this big data environment and then data science solutions come in a single place, right? So
Exactly.
I wish to transform myself with other organization and then pursuing my career now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Shashidhar.
Yeah.
And like there was one question, Shashidhar.
Hmm.
Like as you are a data engineer, as you have gone through many stack, you have worked on many tech stack.
Yeah.
So, like, have you like in your industry, like wherever you have worked, is there is some like, you definitely there might be ingestion tools, right?
Yes.
Everywhere, wherever, whatever it might be. Like, what are the ingestion tools currently being used in industry? Like what are the ingestion tools that which are more specifically being used?
So when we speak of the ingestion tools, right, actually the data that we get can be classified into the real-time data and the non-real-time data. It depends upon the situation with which your project is going to deal with. So if you are opting for the real-time data, na, like you should definitely go with the Kafka kind of ingestion tool. And if it is a near real-time, and then if it is not the real-time, you can go with the ingestion tools like Scoop, maybe.
Okay.
Also you can
Like
like if the project is non-real time, right? So Azure, we can actually the client will be providing you the data in a different formats, where when it regards to the AWS, right? So data will be stored in the Amazon S3 buckets, and then if it is in the Azure, the data will be stored in the Azure blob storage. So these also
yeah.
sometimes act as a data ingestion tools, right? Because when we try to transform the data in the Databricks, we generally pull the data from Azure Blob Storage or the Amazon S3 bucket. So sometimes this is also a case where they can be considered as an ingestion tools.
Okay. And one more question, Shashidhar.
Yeah.
Um, uh, you are saying that ingestion tools are many ingestion tools are being used, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
have you ever come across like these days many people are asking like uh, that scoop is still existing or it has been vanished more specifically or still
Uh,
it being used?
Let me say one thing like
Mm,
so I
mm,
was working Informatica Power Center is my first project where I have been working in my
exactly.
earlier days. So what happened is like all this transition is going to take place, and some of the technologies projects moved into the Snowflake and then eventually into the cloud. But as of now, what industry experts says is like in some aspects Informatica Power Center is more advanced than the other cloud services or the other technologies. So we can say like it is not up to the technology that we specifically speak into. It is up to the situation and the project requirement that we definitely look into. Because Scoop is also having a lot more advanced technologies, right? In pulling the
Exactly.
data from relational databases. So it is Scoop.
Exactly.
Scoop is I say like Scoop is not what I mean underrated. What I can say because Scoop is also
Okay.
the great ingestion tool. What I have seen.
Oh, okay. And one more
It is
question.
industry
Yeah.
relevant and then not outdated one.
Okay. And like you have been working in many projects, right? You used to get data. What in what format actually data used to get for you? Like in table formats, or else you used to get data in file formats. If it comes to file format, what file formats the data used to get actually?
Yeah. So it is the tech stack that may differ when it comes to the file
Yeah,
format. So when I have been working with the big data project, right, we used to get a lot of the data in a Parquet format where we used to process them, and then there are some formats like Avro and there is one uh, the Parquet we are going to use them mostly, and then Avro also we generally receive them. Also, there
okay,
are other file formats like maybe the JSON, CSV, because when we speak of the structured data, this
exactly.
JSON and CSV comes into the picture.
Okay. Like when it comes to like you are saying that you used to get data in Parquet, ORC, and all those format,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
how actually do you used to use any ingestion tool to dump that, or else you used to directly use some Hadoop or some related commands and used to dump the data?
Personally, I use like we in my project we used to dump the data using the scope in particular because the project is working on a non-real time manner, right? So we have gone with the scope.
Okay. And Shishidhar, anyhow, you also worked with many cloud technologies, right?
Yeah.
Like there are multiple cloud technologies now. Like
Yes.
Azure is someone say that Azure. Someone asks to learn GCP. Someone asks you to learn AWS. What would be your insight on that? Like what you would be commenting?
Uh, this what I can say is like when you progress through your career with maybe progressing your career, right, maybe through 6 or 7 years, you should be in a state where you should be able to understand the different cloud technologies. Initially, when you begin the career, you might choose one technology, maybe the Azure, GCP, or AWS. But when you progress your career through different projects, right? So try to work on a different technologies because when you possess some kind of great experience, people ask and expect you to be in a architect level, right? So to become an
Exactly.
architect, you should be able to understand the disadvantages and advantages of using the different cloud technology for a particular situation.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Shishidhar. And there was one question, like as you on day-to-day life, to what extent SQL is being used in your day-to-day life, and to what extent one should prepare as a part of a data engineer in terms of SQL more specifically.
Okay, so when we speak of the data, right, actually in
Hmm.
the industry, there are four different designations. One is a data engineer, other is a data analyst, and then another is a business analyst, and the last is a data scientist. So whatever the
Exactly.
position you are targeting into, if you are not competent in the SQL, maybe the MySQL or the Oracle, you are not going to achieve this goal of being in a particular role because SQL is a kind of very basic thing when we are like aspiring to be in one of those jobs.
Okay. And when it comes to like data warehouses, Shashidhar, like what you used to be the most preferred data warehouse? Like
Uh,
on which
yeah,
data were used?
we used to build schemas based upon the snowflake and star schemas basically.
Okay.
So we used to get the tables and then load the tables in a staged layers. So that is
Okay.
how we are going to build the data warehouse. It is not the same case where we all dump the data in a single place in a single table and then try to retrieve it. So when we process the data, we used to put the data in a different layers where each of these layer will be targeted to the different set of audience, because different client requirement may be there, right? So it is up to us to provide which data to be visualized to the client.
Okay. And one more thing, you definitely as you are working in day-to-day life, you might be using Spark definitely because data
Yes,
engineering, the heart of the data engineering is Spark.
Spark. Yes.
So when it comes to when you are in real time, when you are working in a, when you are utilizing using the Spark to build some data pipelines more specifically, what are the main functionalities, or you can just give a rough idea that what are the main functionalities, or what on which part will most probably will sit on and will work on most probably. So that would be better if you give some insight. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So when some of my friends used to like transition their career into the data engineer from different business areas, and they were trying to make the use of learning parts, right? When it regards to the data breaks, or then or it may be the Snowflake. What they say to me is like, how is this Spark and Hadoop is going to differ from the remaining advanced technologies? For this, the thing that I can say is like, it is not the step when you like when you climb the steps 4 or 5 steps at a time, definitely you are going to fall, or it may take some time, right? So
Exactly.
better to go with the basics. Try to understand the basic understanding of how data is going to evolve, and which is the industry requirement that this data is being put into. So when you understand this big data basics, then only you are going to achieve maybe the thing, because when you see the different ETL tools in even cloud or on-premise, right? So it is that basic understanding you should be having, like what are the different size file sizes and then file formats that we are going to use, and then how the industry is going to transform them from the on-premise and traditional to the advanced level technologies. So it is this basic understanding that you should be having, and then move to the next higher level of understanding.
Okay, cool. And one more thing, Shishidhar, uh, uh, when it comes to your math company only, when you were switching into math company, how was how what are the rounds actually you faced across that, and what are the
So
difficulties you faced like when you were transiting it?
So basically, when you have been opting as a data engineer as your targeted designation, right? You should be capable of at least not an expert level, but a proficient and competent SQL code, and then try to write some code in the Python as well, and then try
Okay.
to build some kind of sample projects among the Spark using the PySpark or the Scala maybe. So these three coding languages are going to be prominent in your resume or CV that you are going to put. So if any one of these skill is going to miss, then definitely you are going to lose the opportunity, what I can say. Because I have personally felt it, and then these are the minimum three skills that you should be having.
Okay. Like when some people are learning Spark, there might be lot. There is a lot of confusion that whether to go with Python with Spark or Scala with Spark. What would be your choice? It would be better. Even you can go give some good insight on that.
Yeah, I'm not an expert to answer this question, but what I have
Okay, fine.
learned from the other sources and the technical people is that 70% of the coders are currently like working on the PySpark, and only 30% are deployed in the Scala. Even when it comes to the writing the code, right, you will be able to understand the code functionality and relating to that with the data frames in Pandas and the data frames in the PySpark. Definitely, right.
Okay.
So once you understand the data frames in Pandas, you will be able to understand the thing in Spark as well. So better to go with a PySpark instead of building the same thing from scratch with the Scala.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And one more question, Sridhar, like when you are transiting into math company, how many rounds was there for you, like more specifically?
There are around 4 rounds that I remember I have taken into the math
Yeah.
one. First is a metal platform assessment that we need to complete on SQL and Python basis. And then we'll be going through the 2 or 3 levels of technical interviews. For me, it was 3 rounds where basic in the first round, basic understanding of the SQL, Python, and PySpark are being tested. And then when you go into the technical round 2 and 3, it is up to you to describe the project that you have accomplished in the recent organization. And then there is also one round where you will be tested on the behavioral questions, right? So and then is a HR round.
Okay, cool. Like there was a confusion as well. Like most people are saying, like there are some pressures. There are some people who are 2 years of experience. And what would be your suggestion if like now you also know that recession is also hitting. If it recession is hitting or not hitting, but if someone like a fresher, if he want to get into data engineering, what would be your suggestion? Is it fine? Because like there are very less opportunities for them, right? You also know that. And what would be
Yes,
your
yes.
suggestion if they want to get into that?
So as a fresher, right, when you consider your career into the data engineer, you cannot directly pursue into the advanced technologies like maybe the Databricks and then AWS Glue services are kind of environment. So just start with the basic traditional tools, ETL tools like maybe the Teradata or Informatica Power Center, or then the Snowflake is also the better option. So once you understand the scenario in the traditional ETL environments, you will be able to see like so today we are dealing with this limit of the data with this traditional ETL tool. So what we if we get the more amount of data or if the data is structured or the unstructured, how we are going to deal with. So there comes an idea where the solution part begins, right? So then you start learning with
Exactly.
the big data concepts and then go with the one visualization tool to visualize the data that you have processed, and then how
Exactly.
to transition, how to migrate that from on-premise to the cloud, and then what are the cloud capabilities that are far better than the on-premise ETL tools. So that is a once you start thinking, right, this path will be automatically loaded into your mind.
And like final question, Shashidhar. The question is like when you are attending for math company, when you attended math company, any do they expected any DSA questions, data structures and
Uh,
algorithms?
Data structures for me it is no, because it is up to the full stack data scientist where data structures is expected, but it is good to have the data structures as well. I'm more
Okay.
aspiring to be in that part also, because when you attend these man companies, right, it is data structures is mandatory.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
since I started focusing on this data engineering and then the data scientist, so it will be as a part of my journey. But if you are having it and then if you are showing interest towards it, uh, now it is far good.
Okay, Shashidhar. This is what actually my questions were. Let's pick up some audience questions, and they might have some good questions, and they will try to ask the questions, and we'll pick one by one, and they will try to ask you.
Yeah,
Yeah, audience,
definitely.
like it's up to your turn. Like if you want, if you want to ask any questions to Shashidhar, you can unmute one by one and you can speak that, or else you can chat. You can text in the text box also. I will try to read it. That is also fine. If you unmute, just raise your hand and just try to unmute, guys.
Sir, my question is, what
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the work? My question is, what is the project workflow in company?
Is the project
Project workflow in company. What is the project workflow?
workflow in company?
Yeah.
Shashidhar, like he was expecting as a data engineer, what is the workflow as a data engineer in day to day life?
So it actually differed from one company to the other company. So because when you choose the MNCs, right, there will be a set of fixed responsibilities where you need to perform on a daily basis. But if you are going into the startup or the mid-sized company where it is more focused on the analytics part, there the responsibilities are going to change. So let me tell you one case where I have been working in a Cognizant, right? So I used to get same responsibilities every day, almost same responsibilities every day, and then even there is a scope to work on a different aspect of the project, there will be dedicated team to work on. So that is how it is going to differ from one company to other company when you have been into this math company in particular, right? What I felt is the difference is, so there are no fixed responsibilities between this data engineer and the data analyst and the data scientist. if you are showing interest to make the things out of your box, right? So if the organization is going to make this happen for you, then it is good. So this is like what I feel.
Okay.
It is up to you to choose the company.
Okay, cool. Uh, I think your answer was clarified. If not, just let me know. Uh, and any other questions, guys? Yeah. HP, yeah.
What is the exact data in project? Daily routine schedule plan? As per daily routine schedule plan, we have usually data in daily
Hmm.
schedule.
No.
So you are asking the exact data flow, right? What actually happens in it as a data engineer in real time cases. If someone is specifically working as a data engineer in some company, what actually the data flow or what actually he will do in a day-to-day life, right? That is what actually you are
Yes,
asking.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I will tell you
Okay.
that answer. So
Okay.
so as a data engineer, definitely it depends upon as Shashidhar said, it depends upon the company. Company to company, it will vary. But I will try to tell you from my case. So actually, as a data engineer, what actually we'll do, there are three things. As a data engineer, what we used to do. One thing is like there are already inbuilt pipelines are there. There are already inbuilt pipelines were there, and our duty is to monitor them first of all. If that job is failing, if it is failing, why actually it is failing? That's the first case. Now, if it is not failing, if it is running slow, then we'll check why actually it is running slow, and we'll try to fix it. This is the first thing. And second thing is you will get a Jira ticket sometimes based on like a requirement. Sometimes you get a new requirement. At that moment, you have to build a new scratch pipeline. That's the second thing. And third thing is like definitely when you are working in definitely as a data engineer, you will definitely do some metric kind of things at any cost. You'll do some metric kind of things will be there. Metrics in the sense you just do some analytics on the data which actually you will get. So these are the three use cases which you will do on day-to-day basis. Uh, uh, this is what actually we will do. I hope I have answered your query, HP.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Thank you.
can you explain this by taking one project like banking related project, banking sector?
No. Here, this is not the
For
platform to
example,
explain
just for
those.
example.
Uh,
Just like
no,
Karthik, I'll
yeah,
just say with the flow
yeah,
like how it is
yeah,
going to
yeah,
be.
yeah,
So
yeah.
whatever the industry may be, right? It is the same flow that we generally follow to process the data more often. Like so, where I have worked with on working with the healthcare domain, right? So like Shubham is the one asking, right? So Shubham, like let us
Yes.
understand the way like where generally get the data from the relational database, right? So generally assume that the client will be putting the data in the relational database, and then from the relational database, depending upon the typicality of the data, right? If it is the real time and it is the if it is a real time, right, then we are going to ingest the data using the Kafka. If it is not the real time, then we are going to use the scope. So even in the healthcare industry, sometimes we see the reports that are generated on a minute and hourly basis, right? So that's we consider as a real-time analytics where so we'll be understanding the reports and then whether the drug is working in an efficient way or not. We are going to analyze this data somehow in the healthcare domain. So assume that that is a real-time scenario where we'll get the Kafka into the scenario, and if it is not the real time, we generally put the scope as an ingestion tool. And then post this ingestion, we'll be loading that data into the HDFS storage, right? Even if it is the scope or Kafka, assume that we are putting that into the HDFS. So using the Spark submit jobs, we are going to perform some kind of transforming operations, right? Using the PySpark language. So once you transform the language, once you transform the data, right? Finally, you can load that into the maybe the relational database or the non-relational database. Consider that for a change, right? Consider that we are putting the final destination of the data as a non-relational database where HBase is the one that we have used earlier as a destination of the data after transforming the data. Even after putting the data into the HBase, what you can do is like there may be a business analyst sitting from the client end, right, where the reports are being analyzed by the business analyst. So connect the business analyst with the HBase and then connect that with the Power BI at Tableau and then generate the reports. This is how like a business solution has been transformed from the raw data into the structured and processed data.
Exactly. Cool. I think
Thank you,
Shubham,
sir. Thank you.
you
Understand.
got some flow, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Shashidhar. And we'll pick up with the next question. Anyone from the audience having any doubts? We'll just unmute and can speak and can ask a question to Shashidhar.
Hello.
Yeah. Who's this?
Irfan
Irfan.
here.
Hi, Irfan.
Yeah,
Yeah, hi.
Irfan.
Actually, as you said now that the data will be dumped into the HDFS, then where we use that Hive navigation?
While transforming the data, right, it is up to us to use the Spark commands, and then if you are going to use the HQL queries, then it is good. I actually missed the Hive in this scenario because I thought of focusing on the flow. I actually missed the Hive.
Okay, got it.
You can also transform
Yeah.
that using the Hive. Yeah, pull the data into the Hive and then make the transition.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And want to add one more point to Shashidhar's answer as well. Like if you are more specifically looking for a small set of data sets, then you can go with Hive. If you are working on large data set and if you need lot of optimization kind of things, performance and all those stuff, then you can go with Spark. So this is what there was a common question being asked everywhere, that when to go with Hive and when to go with Spark. You can answer this manner.
Yeah, Irfan, have you been knowledgeable on this Databricks environment? Because I wish to extend this discussion a bit more. So, have you gained any experience in Databricks, understanding Databricks?
No, frankly, no. On
Okay.
database, I do not have.
So let me say what is the difference between the Databricks and then processing the data in Cloudera or Hortonworks cluster is that. So what happens in our case where we use the HQL language to process the data and then the Spark submit jobs, right? We generally use two different techniques, like two different codes to write them in a different places. But in the Databricks, what is going to happen is that it is a single interface where the PySpark, Scala, R, and then SQL is going to be used in a simultaneous way. So if you are aware, working on the Jupyter notebook, there will be cells in a segment manner, right? So in one cell, if you are going to run the SQL command, and if there is a requirement to run the same Python PySpark code in the next line, right? It is very well appreciated in the Databricks because the environment provides such feasibility. This is how the technologies are going to make transition. Even in the Hadoop and HQL, right? If you are deleting the data and then if you want to return the data, back up the data, right? Sometimes it may not be possible. But in the Databricks, there is a feature called time travel, where if someone is going to delete the data, right, you can time travel back to the time and then get the deleted data as well. So this is how the transition is going to be happening between the tools.
Okay.
Right.
Cool, Irfan. Cool, Shashidhar. And there was a question from Tanmay. He was asking that as a data engineer, according to requirements, we need to add job. Let me read it. As a data engineer, according to requirements, we need to add job or our platform allow or our platform all be up to date by configuration team. He's asking that whether we have to add the jar when we are working as a data engineer, or else there is a configuration team which will take care of that.
So actually, when you have been working with this big data in particular, right? So you'll be using on-premise, maybe the Cloudera or Hortonworks, which is a licensed version. So it is up to the maintenance team to make sure that the configuration that you have been using for the deployment, right? It is up to date. You need not to worry about the configuration because it is licensed version where you are going to pay some bucks to the maintenance team, right? So it is up to them to maintain that configuration.
And one more question from my side, Shashidhar, like many people were asking, so I got that question.
Yeah.
So as a data engineer, there might be unit testing, there might be deployment. The unit testing is it's not that kind of, you also know that unit testing. So can you give some insight on that unit testing as well in terms of Scala or Spark? That might be fine. and in terms of deployment as well. That would be good because you have worked on many different kinds of tech stack, right? So that would be better.
So actually, there used to be three development phases, right? Once you develop the code, it is going to be in a development environment, and then
Development.
when you confirm the changes, right, you'll be bringing that in the production environment, and then even there is a test environment, right? So we generally build the data in the dev environment and then put the data into the production. As of now, like in my earlier project, we don't. I personally don't deal with this testing where there is a dedicated team for this one. Because you need not to worry because one person cannot do entire thing. Even when you speak of the testing, there are a lot many advanced technologies that are going to evolve. All right. So you just focus on the production, writing the code, and then putting the efforts, and then looking more into the data in particular. So there might be different teams where they are going to test the data, not an issue.
Exactly. Cool. One more question, Shishidhar. I will pick that question. There was a question from some SG. He was asking that as a fresher, on what topic he has to focus, like more
Yeah.
specifically.
So I guess if the candidate is from the CS background, he will be well versed with the SQL and Python environment once the time he graduates from the college. Even if he is not from the CS background, then try to be proficient in the SQL and Python. So that is more far better, like far good situation to be in once you be graduated from the college. And then start use of those inbuilt learn technologies and then make it to the next higher level in understanding.
Yeah, cool. Like SJ, do you have any other questions? Or else we'll move forward. Or else you can unmute and you can ask if you have any doubts. Okay. He's not answering. So, well, hello.
It means I don't have to focus on Spark or SDFS Hive.
No, like what I mean is like what the industry expects from the freshers is that the candidate to be well versed with the SQL kind of environment and then Python environment. That is good to have. Once you understand once you understand this basics of ETL concepts, right? Then you will be understand more in detail about the big data concepts. Even if you are having the big data concepts and the basics of the big data, how MapReduce is going to work and how Spark is going to replace this MapReduce, then it is far advanced level where you will be having more edge than the other candidates. This is what I can say. Like first have the basics of SQL and Python, and then if you are good with that, go with the other technologies, maybe the big data or cloud services. You'll be in a better position to grab the opportunity.
Exactly. And even I want to add a few comments on Shashidhar's answer as well. So as a data engineer, I'm not saying that as a fresher you will not get opportunities, but you will get very little opportunities. Where if you you might fail in that opportunities, and ultimately the situation will come that you might not get any opportunities. Even after learning that big tech stack, like when you are learning some big data, it will definitely take at least 4 to 5 months, definitely, if you learn it in a good manner. So after 6 months, after 5 or 6 months, when you are attending for interviews, and if you got failed for 5 interviews, and after that, if you didn't get any opportunity for next 6 months, or if you get opportunities for every 1 month or twice a month, if you get, to what extent you will stay? To what extent you will wait? It's not right. It's not good. If you get a lot of gap, then other batch is already will be coming along down the line with you. Like they will pick up the opportunities. Now you should not wait. Now you should learn this SQL as Shashidhar said, and it should be good with Python or some of the any one of the programming language, and you can pick up as a data analyst or a ETL developer or something. And after that, once you pick the pace, you can directly go with all the stuffs, and you can get into a data engineering field, whatever. Like if you want to get into Databricks, you can get into that, whatever it might be. So this is what the flow it.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah. Shashidhar.
So to add some more comments, right? When I was graduating from the college, I was more interested in data science kind of responsibilities. Once I have been like taken into the cognizant, I understood the real-time understanding where the fresher will rarely get the chance to enter this data science because it is 3 years back, right? Now the companies are offering data science interns to the candidates, but it is way
Exactly.
different 3 years back. So I was interested in doing data science analytics, but the situation didn't accept the thing. What I thought is like, okay, just take it in a phased manner. So first understand the ETL, on-premise ETL with a less amount of data, how we are going to deal with, and then move to the big data, how big data is going to be handled, and then try to understand and relate that with the cloud, and then move into the thing that you want to be processed with. That is how like you can plan it. It worked for me, and then I can confidently say that it works for you as well.
Okay. Cool. I think SJ, your answer is being resolved.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. And like Shishidhar, there was one more question. Like one guy was asking that how to deal with cloud questions more specifically for a role of data engineer. If he learned all on-prem technologies only, he don't know any cloud. Then if someone picks some questions, how actually he has to deal that more specific.
Okay. To say this right, so let us assume that this guy has is proficient in the big data technologies, like maybe there's all the flow that I was speaking. So once,
Exactly.
once there is a requirement to deploy this into the AWS cloud, right? So because I'm not speaking with Azure because I don't have much of the understanding in Azure. My area of interest is AWS, right? So I'll relate that same thing with the AWS. So
Yes, yes.
once there is a requirement to transform and migrate this on-premise big data environment to the cloud, there is one particular tool called AWS EMR, Elastic Map Reduce. So
Exactly.
that is a single-stop solution to migrate all your big data environment into the cloud. So so if you want to add an AWS to your resume, right, just go with a basic understanding of AWS EMR, and then so there are two set of services, right? Maybe the AWS Glue, which mainly focuses on Spark submit jobs, because that is alternative to the Databricks as well. So there definitely in whatever the cloud you may choose, there will be definitely at least 3 or 4 services that are going to relate with the on-premise ETL tools. So just only go through those 3 or 4 services in particular cloud, and then be well versed, and then in those services, then you can grab the opportunity, because
Exactly.
it is the same expectation that industry is looking into. You don't need to enroll all into all of the services in the cloud. Just
Exactly.
just be in a state where you understand the current on-premise ETL environment, and then how to transform that into the cloud. That will be more than enough.
Exactly. And I want to add a few points to Shashidhar's answer as well. See, like it's been like I'm into teaching as well. Like I have like many people come to me with same questions, and on day-to-day life, I will go through these kind of questions. So actually, what I observed in terms of India is like in India, there won't be a situation that if you know on-prem technologies and if you don't know AWS, because you don't know AWS, he will not allow you to the interview. That won't be the case. If you are good at Spark, Hive, SDFS, and all the big data tech stacks, and if you just say that I never worked with AWS, but if you provide me an opportunity, I will definitely learn it and I will definitely prove myself. Then definitely they will allow. And I'm saying you guys, out of 100, if you take 100 companies, there might be some there might be some jobs which are specifically looking for cloud data engineers. But if they are not specifically cloud data engineers, then definitely out of 100 jobs you will find 95 jobs on on-prem only. Some 5 jobs you might find the situation where he might reject your profile because you don't know AWS. But he will 95 companies will allow you because of the technologies you know on-prem. So this is what actually the answer which I added to Shishidhar's point. So you can consider this as well, admin.
Yeah.
Okay. And there was one more question, Bhavesh. Shishidhar, from
Yeah.
Bhavesh. He was asking that what is your current tech stack in a math company?
So my current tech stack doesn't limit to the data engineer responsibilities. It is this data science responsibilities also I'll be getting there, because when you see this all environment as a whole, right? Once you have been put into the some bigger projects in the AI domain, that means artificial intelligence. When so this all the data engineer, data analyst, and all these responsibilities come under a single umbrella. So once you have been able to cater this in a full stack manner, right? So you'll be given all these responsibilities as well. For some time I'll be performing some data analyst activities, and for some time I'll be able to document the requirements and then provide the solution as a data like business analyst. And for some time I'll be able to transform the data as a data engineer. And for some time I used to like understand the real-time situation and then provide the solution, right? So there comes the data science responsibilities as well. So it is this full stack development that you need to understand, that comes into a picture maybe sometime later.
So they're ready. Irfan here.
Yeah.
You as you said that you are sometimes used to work on documentation, right? So which
Yeah.
tools you will using? I mean, right, for documentation part.
So there is no such documentation tools that I use in particular, because when you make an agreement with the client, right, there used to be two set of documentation in particular that we speak. It is the low level document and then a high level document, that where each document will be consisting of all the project requirements and which tools are you are going to use, and then which version you are going to use, and then what are all the file formats that you will be getting from the client. All this will be recorded as a documentation. This is the documentation that I was looking into, because it differs from low level document and the high level document. So depending upon the phase of the project, these documents are going to differ. This is how like business analyst is also going to make the project convenient and simplified by the data architect even. So business analyst generally will be working with the data architect in figuring out these solutions that need to be put in the these documents.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. One more question, Shashidhar. Like there was one question from Suraj. So
Yeah.
he was asking that in the interviews coding round in the interview coding rounds, like would there would be the Spark actually? They'll
Yeah.
ask any Spark correlated questions. He's
Yeah,
asking.
definitely. You'll be tested on Spark as well, but not the advanced Spark, I can say. So there used to be one website where Spark, by examples, is going to provide you a basic understanding, like how to
Exactly.
like get the data, what are all the different ways to pull the data, and how the when you speak of the Spark architecture, right, there used to be transformations and actions that are more focused on the Spark architecture. So
Exactly.
you'll be tested how this Spark transformation and actions that you are going to apply in project. So this is once you understand this basic Spark architecture, right? So only there are few operations that can be performed in the transformations. Maybe we can say map, flat map, and then kind of operations. So just practice on those operations, you'll be able to clear the Spark code.
Yeah. That would be great. And I want to add a few answers to a few comments to Shashidhar's answer as well. Definitely they will ask you Spark. Definitely they will ask you Spark, because Spark is the heart of the big data. They will definitely ask you Spark related coding questions. Don't think that see, there is a lot of myth in industry or in the people who are like, there are many people who are teaching in big data as big data. So I want to specifically like, I want to clear that myth as well. Don't think that you will big data means only SQL. SQL means only big data. Don't think that SQL is important. SQL is the backbone of data engineering, but it doesn't mean that only is only SQL means big data. There is, apart from SQL, there is much in big data. Sometimes you will be writing hard coding where actually you will not write everything. Now you will write the code, and your code will go and hit the data, hit that script, and will get the data and give it back to you. So that kind of scenarios will also you will face. So don't think that big data means just I will, when it comes to I will directly write select a star from something and I will get data. This is very easy. It's not like that. And in terms of Spark also, like I'm using Spark.SQL and I will write SQL code and will waiting. That's very easy. It won't be the scenario. I want to clear the myth. There won't be the chance that there won't be the case that you will be writing. You will think that like big data means totally SQL. There won't be any coding. That won't be the scenario. Definitely coding will be there, because the title itself say that you are a developer, big data developer. Developer in the sense you will be doing coding kind of things only. Coding means scripting is different. Here SQL kind of things are different. the thing is like the code which you will write, that is mostly related to the SQL kind of syntactic, sure. But here logic will definitely plays a vital role.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
guys.
just keep an expectation that if you are if
Yeah.
you are applying for the big data developer, not the data engineer, almost 90% of the responsibilities are the same, and you need to be pretty confident that you are proficient in SQL, Python, and PySpark or the Scala.
Exactly. Coding is must. Definitely will ask coding. You will
Actually,
real time also will do coding.
Actually, in the requirements, there I see there are multiple names, right? So one,
Exactly.
the one company comes with a requirement with a ETL developer, and then one
Exactly.
company comes with a big data developer, and then
Exactly.
one company comes with a Spark developer, and other company comes with a cloud data engineer. So all
Exactly.
these, there are 4 to 5 responsibilities which will be catering the same prerequisites. So be pretty sure about it.
Exactly. Before entering into any company, make sure that what is your roles and responsibilities. Then only switch. Don't get into some trap that they will say something and they will ask you to do something. Don't get into that.
Yeah, Karthik,
And
one question.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
as you said that without knowing the JD, but some companies actually directly scheduling the call, I mean interview call, without sending the JD, and that
you
too
should
they
have.
are without. I mean that too they are asking for the cloud technologies.
Yeah,
If I
yeah.
said that I do have knowledge on on-premise environment, but they will say actually we looking for that only cloud technologies like kind of.
Irfan, I'm saying that only. There are some specific companies who will definitely look for cloud data engineers. I'm not saying they will not look for, but more than the companies which are looking for cloud, there are also the companies which only look for batch processing kind of things, on-prem kind of thing. There won't be the scenario that because you don't know AWS, they won't allow you for the enter.
Yeah,
There
true.
might be some scenarios. I'm not saying that I'm completely true. There are two sides, but one
Mm-hmm.
side one side is more higher than other side. You can
Yeah.
consider it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Karthik,
Shishidhar,
yeah, hi.
yeah. Hi. Who is
Yeah,
this?
so one situation also occurred that I also told you that is occurred with me. Some companies
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned about cloud, okay? So that is also the happens that I know AWS, but they are required Azure. They are not giving importance to me because you know AWS, but we require Azure. So that is also one of the problem. So
Most probably, like Savik, most
yeah,
probably there won't be any if there is any project specific requirement, this is going to happen. But in a general case, the
yeah,
company expects the candidate should be proficient in at least any one of the cloud. That is
right. That should be
that you
general
can.
level should be, yeah, right. Yeah.
Maybe that requirement is for a specific project requirement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
You can ignore it.
Okay, sure,
Exactly.
sure, sure. Thanks.
Exactly. Shishidhar, there was one more question, Shishidhar.
No.
Like there's a question from someone. Like he's asking, how much Azure data
Yeah.
factory important in data engineering?
Yeah.
Azure DF.
Yeah, understand this. So I
Mhm.
was speaking about the data breaks, right? How this
Yeah.
data breaks is going to be a bit superior than this on-premise clusters. So when you work with the Databricks, Azure Data Factory is a must because I was into the AWS, right? Having the basic understanding of Azure. So I was also like trying to learn this Azure Data Factory as of now. So it is important what I can say.
Okay. There was one more question, Shishidhar. Like he was asking, one guy was asking what type of questions they are asking in interview, from which topic they are asking more questions more specifically. Yeah, in terms of data engineering.
Okay. So let us start with the SQL. So initially that is SQL is the basic thing that you are going to be tested.
Exactly.
So you'll be getting random questions on maybe the Windows function, in particular about the rank and dense rank, and then how they are going to differ, and then maybe the joins. So inner join, left join, right join. So they'll be giving two set of tables with simple data, maybe 3 or 4 records, and then they will be asking. So if you are using the right join, what could be the output of these two tables? If it is a left join, if it is an inner join, what could be the output? So this is a very default question that you can expect from SQL. Where when you move to the Python, right, you will be tested on list operations and dictionary operations as well. So they will be not asking directly write a program to the palindrome or the prime number or something else. So we will be tested how this candidate is going to be proficient in list operations, maybe the simple line of code in the list comprehension, or how this dictionary knowledge the candidate is having. So will be tested on these operations. And then when you move to the Spark or the Scala, right, you'll be asked to load the data from maybe the particular link, and then enforce the schema, how you are going to make it, and basic operations like while you are loading the data, and then what are all the transformations that you are acknowledged with. These are all the basic coding questions that you will be getting.
And one more question specifically, someone is asking, like if you have knowledge of Spark SQL and core, then how to manage questions of PySpark if you have only basic knowledge? Spark SQL. He's saying specifically that if he's having the knowledge of Spark SQL only and some core concepts of some Spark related stuff, how to manage PySpark related coding questions it might be, right? That is what actually you are asking, right, admin?
Yes, maybe the case.
Yeah.
So what I can suggest you is that if you're having some time, start with the Python and understand how these Python data frames are going to work with the pandas. If you are not having time and then want to jump more quick, right? So go with the Spark by Examples website. There you will be able to see basics of the Spark codes, how you load the data, how schema is being enforced, and what are the different ways how schema is enforced, and then so there are some basic operations when it comes to the Spark. So you'll be able to like understand that, right? I guess it is enough.
Yeah. And one more question. One more question from Snehal Varma. Snehal Varma. He was asking that can you tell in short like how actually Spark submit command will be used in real time, like how actually it is being executed, all those like short.
Spark submit job, right? You will be having two concepts called a directed acyclic graph and then the linear graph. So based upon the dependencies, it will be having some kind of edge and vertex concept where, so for once you submit the Spark job, right, internally it will be generating one kind of graph where so first do this job and then go to this job and then go to this job. So this kind of linear graph will be developed in the Spark engine, and then it is that steps that will be followed by the Spark submit job. It will be in a very optimized manner. Like it is an intelligence, right? It is the intelligence of the Spark submit job to make which job, which phase of the code to be executed first.
And there was one more question, Shashidhar, and we'll pick a few 4 or 5 questions and we'll try to wind up this session.
Yeah.
There was a question from Ramdos. He was saying that what all are optimization techniques being used in Spark more specifically?
Spark, right? There are,
Real time.
yeah, there are. As of now, like I can say, like use this. When you speak of the optimization, you can use the coalesce and
Repartition.
Repartition, yes. That is a more advanced, like a basic understanding of the optimization that you can get. Also, do not use the user-defined functions in whichever the code you write, because user-defined functions are going to make the code complex. So avoid using these user-defined functions and then use this coalesce and repartition in a far understandable way. Like it depends upon the code that you write. So if you are opting for more repartitions, and then if you are opting for less repartitions, it is up to the scenario to use this repartition coalesce. But I generally prefer do not use the user-defined functions unnecessarily.
Okay. So I want to add a few points to Shashidhar's answer as well. Like in terms of real-time optimization techniques, Ramdos, like you can go with whenever possible, you can go with broadcast joins, and whenever possible, you can use a catchy over persist. Persist over catchy, and persist come with its own memory levels. Catchy is only related to memory. And you can go with partition by bucket by using data frame itself is one of the optimization technique. Using hash aggregate over sort aggregate, this is also one of the optimization technique. These all things will use. don't think that will not use. Sometimes we'll use this, but more specifically, if you're on a regular basis, they're using broadcast join, using catchy persist, a partition by bucket by data frame, parquet like a specific choosing specific file formats. These all are the basic infrequently using partition like optimization techniques.
Yeah, broadcast
I hope.
join also the greatly helps in optimizing the
Yeah.
code, because it is written once and then called many times, right? So
Yeah,
it will be
exactly.
greatly helpful.
Yeah, salting is also there. Na?
Which sorting?
Salt.
Salting is not a optimization
Okay.
technique. It's a solution for data skewness.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Shishidhar. Really
Yeah.
so thankful, Shishidhar. The evening
Yeah.
was very good, and you answered every question with lot of patience. And
Yeah, great.
it's really very humble. You came here, you accepted our invitation, and you are here, and you answered every query. Really, like I think most of the people gained lot of knowledge. They got some good insights as well. A quick poll, guys. Try to answer that. How was the session? And if we need to improve, just try to give some things. Like there was a poll. Just give it. That will be good. And really, it was very nice, Shishidhar, because I got to know much about you.
Yeah,
It's
great.
been like you worked on different tech stack. Like I thought that you are limited. Yeah.
I have been like seeing your efforts for past 1 year, right? So
Yeah.
we have been mutual connection on the LinkedIn. It is where
Exactly.
it is that platform that collaborated with you. So I
Exactly.
have been seeing your efforts and then eager to learn the things and then provide something new to the candidates, right? In a very easy and
Exactly.
understandable way.
Exactly. Like even we are moving, we are building our own website. We have already built our own website where actually the content will be available, and it will be free for all the data engineers around the world. And whatever the content will provide, you will not get that content anywhere, wherever it might be, and the content will be in very much depth, and that is totally for free for every data engineer. And it will be like already the website is built. Just the thing is like content will might take by the end of this month it will be full on that website. That's cool.
Yeah, frankly to say,
Thank
guys,
you.
when I was attending the interviews, I have been taking the Karthik help. This I need to mention because in some other way, because Karthik helped me in how to face the particular situations in the interview. This I was discussing with him for maybe some time back when I was attending the interviews. He helped me a lot in understanding the situation and providing solution to the requirement.
Okay, thank you, Shishidhar. It's thank you. You mentioned my name, and
Yeah,
Shishidhar. We can wind up, Shishidhar, this
yeah.
session, and really, lot of thank you because you came here. It's been like honor for us even.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will share my LinkedIn profile
Yeah.
with Karthik.